So in the last lecture we have completed up to calculation of shear force for this particular design of combined footing. Now next step, that is we were at step number 5, I think. Just a minute. Yeah, the step number 5. In that, a portion was calculation of your shear force. A portion was your calculation of your shear force. Now next we will start with the calculation of bending moment. Now we will start with the calculation of our bending moment. So let us consider this as B, calculation of bending moment. Okay, now we have a beam like this or footing like this, which is subjected to some uniform soil pressure. It is subjected to some load from the columns. The load is 1.5 into 1600 kilonewton. Why 1.5? Because we are considering it is a factored load, that is multiplied by factor of safety. 1.5 is the factor of safety. Again we have second load here, that is again 1600 kilonewton, but multiply it with 1.5 so that we will get the factored load. This particular distance is 1.25 meters. This is 1.25 meters. Okay, again we have this particular distance, small l, is equal to 5 meter, is equal to 5 meters. That is the distance between two columns. Okay, this is 5 meter, and again this particular distance is 1.25 meter. 1.25 meter. Okay, now we have to calculate the bending moment. We have here point A or column A, column B, point C, point D. Let us consider this is the mid span. Let us consider this as E, and this particular distance is 5 by 2 or 2.5 meter. This particular distance is 2.5 meter. Okay, now we'll calculate the bending moment at A, B, C and D. So first, bending moment at C is equal to 0 because there is no load on the left hand side, therefore bending moment at C is equal to 0. Now bending moment at A, okay, this will be equal to, we have this loading, okay, we have this loading is equal to 640 kilonewton per meter, 640 kilonewton per meter, 640 kilonewton per meter. Okay, now therefore bending moment at A, this will due to this uniform soil load, this particular portion AC will bend like this. Okay, so it is a sagging shape. So this AC will sag like this due to this uniform upward pressure. Okay, so this is a sagging shape, therefore the bending moment will be positive. Therefore bending moment at A will be equal to 640 multiplied by the distance is 1.25 meter. Okay, therefore total load will be 640 into 4.5 meter, and this particular load will be acting at a distance 1.25 divided by 2, that is at the center of this 1.25. Therefore just a minute, not here it should be just a minute. Okay, this should be 640 into multiplied by this particular distance, that is 1.25 meter, and this load will be acting at a distance 1.25 divided by 2, 1.25 divided by 2, so 1.25 divided by 2. So this bending moment comes out to be 500 plus 500 kilonewton meter. Now third, consider the third point, bending moment at E. bending moment at E, that is at mid span. Okay, this total bending moment is equal to bending moment due to this uniform upward soil pressure plus bending moment due to any one column load. Let us consider the left side. Therefore bending moment at this point E, bending moment at this point E will be equal to, again, due to uniform upward soil pressure, bending moment will be positive. Therefore consider this as 640 into the distance will be 1.25 plus 1, this distance 1.25 plus 1.25 plus 2.5, 1.25 plus 2.5 meter. So that comes out to be 3.75 meter. That comes out to be 3.75 meter. 3.75 meter. Therefore 640 into 3.75, it will be acting at a distance 3.75 divided by 2. It will be acting at a distance 3.75 by 2. Therefore consider it as a square divided by 2 minus bending moment due to this 1.5 multiplied by 1600 kilonewton load. Why minus? Because the bending due to at this point E, that will be a sagging shape, hogging shape. That will be a hogging shape due to this 1600 kilonewton load. Therefore the bending moment will be negative. Therefore 1.5 into 1600 multiplied by the distance is again multiplied by this, okay, again multiply 1.5 into 1600 multiplied by the distance is 2.5 meter. The distance is 2.5 meters. So this bending moment at point E comes out to be minus 1500 kilonewton minus 1500 kilonewton meter. Now bending moment, third bending moment at B, this will be equal to bending moment at point A. Why? Because it is a loading is symmetrical and the footing is symmetrical. Okay, so this will be equal to plus 500 kilonewton meter, plus 500 kilonewton meter. Now bending, this is will be number 4, and bending moment, now bending moment at point D, bending moment at D, this will be equal to 0. Now we will draw the bending moment diagram. Here itself. First we will draw here, and then for simplicity we will draw at the top where we have drawn the shear force diagram. So bending moment diagram will be something like this. This is our reference line. Bending moment at point A is plus 500. Bending moment at point A is plus 500. So 500 kilonewton meter. Now bending moment at point B is again 500 kilonewton meter. Therefore draw here 500 kilonewton meter. Just a minute. Okay, now bending moment at center is 1500, but it is minus 1500. Therefore the bending moment diagram will be something like this. So this value will be minus 1500 kilonewton meter, but this value is minus, this value is negative, whereas this particular value is positive. Again this value is positive. Therefore maximum bending moment value is 1500 kilonewton meter. Now we will draw the same bending moment diagram at the top where we have drawn the shear force diagram. Okay, so we have drawn the shear force diagram. It is for understanding only. Otherwise there is no need to draw two different bending moment diagrams. Okay, here the bending moment value is 1500 kilonewton meter. Again bending moment value here is again 1500 kilonewton meter, and at center of this particular footing. Here the bending moment, this is 500 kilonewton meter, this is again 500 kilonewton meter, both positive, okay. But the bending moment at this E, bending moment at mid span is 1500 kilonewton meter, 1500 kilonewton meter, but this bending moment value is negative, this bending moment value is negative, okay. Here we will be having 2 point of contraflexure, that is the point where bending moment is 0, this is point of contraflexure, this is again another point of contraflexure, okay. So this is point of contraflexure. So what is point of contraflexure? It is the point where bending moment value will change its sign, where the bending moment value will change its sign, okay. So this is our bending moment diagram, this is our shear force diagram, and this is our bending moment diagram, this is our bending moment diagram, this is our bending moment diagram, okay. Now we will have to calculate the value of bending, the location of point of contraflexure, okay. Now we have to calculate the value of location of point of contraflexure. Now if you see this particular bending moment diagram, if you see this bending moment diagram, this is same as drawn above. Okay, this is same which is drawn above. Now this bending moment will be 0 here, therefore this will be the point of contraflexure. Now this point of contraflexure will be at certain distance from any of the end. Just a minute. Okay, this point of contraflexure will be at certain distance from one of the end. Let us consider this point of contraflexure is at a distance small x, from left end. It is at a distance small x from left end. Then we can write an equation, like this: the bending moment at x, is equal to, now how we can write this equation for bending moment? The bending moment at this point, at this location, okay, let us consider this as F point, okay. The bending moment at this point F will be bending moment due to this uniform upward soil pressure, plus bending moment due to this 1600 kilonewton column load. So this will be equal to, due to 640 kilonewton per meter uniformly distributed load, the bending moment will be positive 640, and it is acting at a distance x. So x square divided by 2 minus, why minus? Because the bending moment value due to this column load, that will be sagging, and therefore it is minus 1.5 into 1600, and it is acting at a distance x minus 1.25 meter. So we can equate this value with 0, because at point of contraflexure the bending moment will be 0. So after solving this, we will get 320 x square minus 2400 x plus 3000 is again equal to 0, okay, because we are equating this with the 0. If we solve this particular equation, we will get x is equal to 1.585 meters. So this 1.585 meter distance is from both the ends, therefore we get this x is equal to 1.585 meter. Again this particular distance will be 1.585 meter, okay. So this will be again equal to x. Now next step is to calculate the depth of your footing. Okay, up to this I think there is no problem. Next step, step number 5. Next step, step number 5 is to calculate the depth of footing. So we'll write step number 5, calculate, I think 5 or 6, just a minute, let me check. Okay, it is step number 6. It is step number 6. Okay, this should be step number 6. Okay, wait. Okay, yeah, sorry. Okay, so this should be step number 6. This should be step number 6. Okay, so step number 6. Step number 6 is to calculate depth of footing. Depth of footing. Calculate the depth of footing. Now we know that the value of bending moment mu max or mu is equal to 1500 kilonewton meter. 1500 kilonewton meter. So we'll calculate this depth of footing based on the bending moment consideration. Therefore consider step number 1 under this calculation of depth of footing as from bending moment consideration. From bending moment consideration. Okay, now we have mu is equal to 1500 kilonewton meter. We can convert it into Newton mm as 1500 into 10 raised to power 6 Newton mm. Now we know that we have this mu is equal to Ru into Bd square. We know this formula from RCC subject. Okay, therefore we can write this like this also. This depth is equal to square root of this depth is equal to square root of mu divided by Ru into B Now we have already calculated the value of Ru is equal to 3.45 and we are considering the value of B. Here we have the value of B as capital B. We have this value of B as capital B. So this capital B, we have this one equal to 2400 mm. So we can write this particular equation small d, that is depth required. Let us consider this as depth required. Therefore depth required is equal to, we have mu is equal to 1500 into 10 raised to power 6 divided by, we have Ru is equal to 3.45 and we have value of B is equal to 2400 mm. Therefore we'll get, if we solve this particular equation, we'll get the value of D required. The value of D required is equal to 425 mm. Okay, this is the depth from bending moment consideration. Now next step, we have to check whether this depth is sufficient from the shear consideration. So in this step number 6, consider second point as check for one-way shear. Okay, so we'll check the depth, this depth is sufficient or not from shear point of view, because in this particular type of footing, in case of beams, what we'll be doing, we'll be providing the top and bottom reinforcement, and along with this we'll be providing the shear reinforcement or stirrups for carrying the shear. but in case of these footings we won't be providing any type of stirrups, we won't be providing any type of stirrup. Therefore the main point which will be resisting the shear, that will be the depth of your footing, and in terms it will be the concrete only, it will be the concrete only. Therefore we have to check this from the one way shear point of view. Now we have already seen that the critical section for one way shear is at a distance small d, or depth of your footing from the face of your column. So in this particular figure, if you see this particular figure, then you can see the critical section for one way shear. This is at a distance, small d. So this section number 6, okay, this is at a distance small d from the face of your column. So this section 6 is your critical section for this column C1, or if we consider this as A, then for this column A, the critical section is at a distance small d, from the face of column. Now for this column C2, or if we consider this as column B, then for this particular column B, the critical section should be at a distance small d from the face of column. Therefore now in case of this B column, the critical section will be at a distance small d. Therefore this 7 section will be your critical section for one way shear, okay. Now we will be calculating the value of shear force at these two sections. Now if we have for this particular problem, we have both the columns same dimension, same loading, and the footing is arranged in a symmetrical manner. Therefore the shear force at section 7 and 6 will be same. But if we have some excess loading for column B, then we should calculate the value of maximum shear force, that will be at section 7.7, Now if the maximum value of load W is at A, then we should consider the shear force at this section 6 only. That is, in simple manner we should consider the higher load value for calculating the one way shear, okay. Just a minute. So for this particular case we have, okay, for this particular case we have the loading, the arrangement of our footing. The arrangement of our footing is something like this. Okay, this is in plan. I am drawing this in plan, okay. Now we have one column like this, and another column like this, and another column like this, okay. Now as explained earlier, the critical section will be at a distance small d from the face of column, d from the face of column. So this distance will be small d. We have calculated the small d as 425 mm. So we will consider any one of the column, because the arrangement is symmetrical. So we will consider this column B. Now if we draw the loading here, okay, the loading will be something like this. This will be the upward soil pressure, which will be uniform. The value is again 640 kilonewton per meter, 640 kilonewton per meter. Now again some load 1600 kilonewton is acting here, so multiply it with 1.5. Why 1.5? Because 1.5 is our safety factor, or factor of safety. So 1.5 into 1600. Now if we draw the base shear force diagram for this particular loading, we again have one load of 1.5 into 1600 here also. If we draw the shear force diagram for this particular footing, the shear force diagram will be something like this. The shear force diagram will be something like this. It will be something like this. So we have here 800 kilonewton, we have here 1600 kilonewton, again we have here 800 kilonewton and 1600 kilonewton. Just a minute, battery is down, I think. Okay, so the bending moment values, here it will be positive, here it will be positive, here it will be negative, here again it will be positive, and here it will be negative. Now we have to consider the shear force at this location. We have to consider the shear force at this location. Okay, okay. Now we will be considering the shear force value in such a manner. We will be considering the shear force value in such a manner that we get the maximum shear force. We get the maximum shear force. To get that maximum shear force, what we will be doing, will just a minute. Okay, so what we will be doing, just a minute, yeah, okay, so what we will be doing is that we will be considering the value of shear force in this particular region only. Just a minute, it is bit slow, the system is bit slow. Okay, we will be considering the value of shear force for this portion only. We will be considering the value of shear force for this portion only up to this load. But after this load, we will be considering the section at this location and then calculating the shear force value. Why? Because we don't require to reduce the value of shear force. This portion is having negative shear force, so it will reduce the value of shear force. Therefore, we will be calculating the value of shear force in this particular region only, from the section of critical section, from this is our critical section for one way shear, from this location up to the point where load acts, after this point. Okay, so now the value of shear force will comes out to be, the formula, simply formula is there for one way shear. The value of shear force, VU, value of shear force, this shear force, sorry, so we will write here the critical section, we will write here okay, so we will write here the critical section, the critical section for one way shear is at a distance small d from face of our column, so this will be at a distance small d from the face of our column, where small d is the required depth. Now we have to calculate the value of shear force. This value of shear force will be, in simple words, if we say this critical section will be at a distance small d from the face of our column. In simple words, if we want to calculate the distance of this particular critical section from the center of column. So distance of critical section from center of column B, this will be equal to width of column, let us consider B, divided by 2 plus depth of our beam plus depth of footing. Okay, how we are considering this? Because okay, let us consider this width of this column is small b and this critical section is acting at a distance small d, right? So this distance between critical section and the center of this particular beam, from center of column to the critical section, this will be this plus this. Okay, we have this distance as small d and this will be b by 2, or width of column divided by 2. So this will be equal to b by 2 plus d, okay. Now we can calculate this, but that is not required. Okay, now we have this value of shear force Vu, which is acting at the critical section, therefore shear force Vu at critical section for one way shear. Okay, let us consider this value is Vu, and Vu is equal to, we have the formula for this is load. Okay, load on column minus 640, that is, this will be our load on footing. Okay, uniform load on footing 640 multiplied by the distance of critical section from the center of your column. So that will be equal to 500 divided by 2 plus depth 0.5 divided by 2 plus depth divided by 1000, because we are considering the depth in mm. Okay, and multiply this complete value with 10 raised to power 3 to get the value of shear force in Newton. Okay, so we have load on column. Okay, so load on this column, we are considering maximum load, that is equal to 1600, multiply it with 1.5 to get the factored load, minus 640, this is the uniform pressure from the soil, multiplied by 0.5 divided by 2, plus we have depth of footing as 425 divided by 1000. Why 1000? Because we are considering this in this depth in mm. And now multiply this complete term, and multiply this complete term with, just a minute, with 10 raised to power 3 to get the value in Newton. So multiply this whole term with 10 raised to power 3 to get the value in Newton. So we'll get this critical shear force value. Okay, so we'll get some value for this shear force. Now if we see, now So we have got some value of shear force. We have got some value of shear force. So shear force is denoted by here as Vu. Shear force is denoted by using the term Vu. Now let us assume we have provided 0.2% steel. We have provided the 0.2% steel. Now if we see the table number 19, from table number 19 of IS 456 2000 and on page number 73, for 0.2% steel, if we are considering some 0.2% steel, okay, for 0.2 will be somewhere here, okay. If we are considering 0.2% steel for M25, the value will be in between the 0.29 and 0.36. So by interpolation we can calculate the value of this design shear strength, which is given at page number 73 of IS 456. Let us consider, or you calculate this value by using interpolation, or we can directly consider the intermediate value, that is tau c is the design shear strength. This, let us consider this as 0.32. Why 0.32? We have considered some value between this 0.29 and 0.36. So this value comes out to be approximately 0.32. This value comes out to be approximately 0.32. So the value of this tau c, the value of tau c will be equal to 0.32 Newton per mm square. Okay, this is the design shear strength of our concrete. This is the design shear strength. This is design shear strength. Shear strength of concrete for this particular case of concrete. And this is for M25 concrete. This is for M25 concrete. This is for M25 concrete with 0.2% as assumed percentage of steel. Then we have this value tau c, that is design shear strength, is equal to shear force divided by the cross sectional area where the this shear force is acting, that is tau c into B into D, where we have this B is equal to, sorry, we should consider this as capital B. We should consider this as capital B. Now how we have considered this area on which shear force is acting? This is like this. If we have one footing like this, okay, now your column is here, okay, I am drawing only half portion of your footing will be on this side, half portion will be on this side. Now if we are considering the shear critical section at a distance small d, so let us consider this section is at a distance small d, then the area on which this shear force will be acting will be this area, this area. Now this area is the length, width is capital B, that is width of our footing, whereas the depth is small d, the depth is small d. Therefore this value comes out to be Vu upon Bd. Now we have this value Vu is equal to 1600 into 1.5, 1600 into 1.5 minus 640, okay, 640, this value, okay, we are taking this value only, multiplied by 0.5 divided by 2 plus 425 divided by 1000 and completely multiply this value with the 10 raised to power 3 divided by B into small d. We have B is equal to 2400 and D as 425. We have to calculate this value, okay. Okay, now we know, just a minute. Okay, now we know that the value of tau c, we have tau c, here it will be d. Okay, the value of tau c is equal to 0.32. The value of tau c is equal to 0.32. Now just solve this equation. Now solve this equation, you will get the value of, now you solve this equation, you will get the value of small d. So we get the value of small d, will get the value of small d is equal to 1023 mm, 1200, sorry, 23 mm, 1223 mm. Let us, we assume that we are adopting, let us adopt total depth is equal to, let us adopt total depth capital D for footing is equal to 1100 mm. Therefore effective depth small d, this will be equal to 1100 minus 60 mm. This is the cover, this is the cover to concrete, this is the cover to concrete. So effective depth will be equal to 1040 mm. So this is how we will get the revised effective depth. This will be revised effective depth because the depth which is we calculated from the bending moment consideration, that is 425 is less than 1023. Therefore we will adopt this 1023, will increase the total depth up to 1100 will minus 60 mm as clear cover. So we will get the total effective depth as 1040 mm. So this is how we have calculated the value of effective depth from the one way shear consideration. Now let us consider, say, case number C for depth only. The case number C for depth only. In case number C, what we have to do, we have to check depth of footing from two-way shear point of view or consideration. Two-way shear consideration. Okay, now we have already seen that the critical section for two-way shear, is at a distance. It is written here, you can see, sorry. Okay, it is written here, the critical section for punching shear, or it is also called as two-way shear, is at a distance small d by 2 from the face of column. Is at a distance small d by 2 from the face of column, and it is around the periphery of column, So punching shear or two-way shear will be acting over this particular area. Okay, one-way shear was acting along one critical section, whereas this particular two-way shear will act on this particular area. Okay, having which is in such a manner that the critical section is at a distance small d by 2, therefore this complete distance will be equal to b plus d. It is equal to b plus capital D. Okay, why capital D? Therefore, because half d from this side and half d from this side, and this is our width of column. Small b. Therefore, this value b0, this will be equal to b plus small d. Okay, Up to this I don't think any problem is there. Okay, I'll go to whiteboard again, just a minute. So we have to check the depth of footing from two-way shear consideration. Now the critical section, the critical section for two-way shear is at a distance d by 2 from face of column, okay, and it is acting at periphery, at the periphery only, okay, which is explained earlier. Otherwise I'll explain. I have some pre-drawn figure, okay, I'll explain that from that figure. Okay, if it is there, okay, I think it is there only. Okay, sorry. So if we consider that this is our column number B and we are having some column A here, we are having some column A here. Okay, now the punching shear for this particular column B will be acting on this area. This particular distance will be small d by 2. This particular distance will be small d by 2. Again on this side it will be same small d by 2. On this side this will be again small d by 2. This will be small d by 2. So this particular punching shear will be acting on an area which is having width that is equal to this much, okay, which is having width this much, and this width will be equal to small b plus d. Let us consider this length is b0, this length is b0. How this small b plus d is calculated? B is the width of this column, B is the width of this column, and this d by 2 on left side plus d by 2 on the right side will get the 1d, therefore b0 is equal to b plus b0, and this will be acting along like this, will be acting like this. If we consider this is our critical section, which is acting at a distance, distance will be d by 2, then this will be acting over this particular area. So now we should also just a minute, we should also keep in mind that we have some upward uniform pressure which is acting like this on this particular footing, upward uniform pressure which is acting on this particular footing. So this is 640 kilonewton per meter, now, but this punching shear will be acting on this particular area, therefore we need this uniform pressure in kilonewton per meter square, that is already calculated. The upward pressure in kilonewton per meter square is 266.7 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, so this is our factored soil pressure in kilonewton per meter square, So this is how we have to check the two-way shear. Now we'll calculate the value of depth of your footing from two-way consideration. Just wait. From two-way consideration, consideration, Okay, so this is the step number C. Now therefore we have seen the area, therefore area resisting this resisting punching shear or two-way shear, this will be equal to B0 into small d, B0 into small d. Okay, so this is equal to, we have already calculated this, B0 is equal to B plus small d, and it will be again multiplied by small d. But we should know that this B0 is 4 times this B plus d. Okay, just a minute, I'll re-explain this. Sorry, there was some mistake at the top, that I by mistake written here B0. Okay, that is not B0. Okay, this is not B0, this is not B0. Okay, this is not B0. Actually the B0 value will be this total depth, from starting from this. If we start from here and then we come like this up to this point, this will be the total B0. So B0 is equal to 4 times the B plus D, this B0, this is the value of B0. Okay, so we'll come to our problem only. So we are checking the depth of our footing from punching shear point of view or two-way shear point of view. Okay, so we'll make this correction. So since we have this B0, this value B0, this B0 is equal to 4 into B plus D. Therefore this area resisting punching shear, therefore area resisting this area resisting punching shear, this will be equal to, we have B0 is equal to 4 multiplied by B plus D, again it will be multiplied by small d. So this is equal to, we have 4 into, we have B is equal to 500 mm plus depth, we have depth is equal to 1040, that is revised depth, multiply it with the 1040 or our depth. Now the shear force at this critical section, now shear force, therefore shear force at critical section, at the critical section, the shear force at critical section, okay, at critical section VU is equal to, this shear force VU, this will be equal to our load 1.5 multiplied by 1600 minus load minus this upward soil pressure in kilonewton in kilonewton. So 266.7 multiplied by 0.5 plus 1.04 bracket square. How this has came, as we know that if this is our footing, if this is our footing, considering only the critical section. So if this is our critical section, okay, this width will be small b plus d. This width will be small b plus d. This is our column, and now we see that we know that some load will be coming from here. Okay, this load value is 1600 into 1.5 factored load, whereas this pressure which is acting at the base of this footing, the pressure which is acting at the base of this footing, the pressure which is acting at the base of this footing will be like this, that is 266. This will be 266. Okay, this will be 266.7 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, so we have some load 266.7 kilonewton per meter square which is acting on this particular area, which is acting at the base of footing. So on this particular area, this 266.67 is acting. So the total load will be 266.7 multiplied by area at the base of this critical section. The area of this base of this critical section, we know that this particular distance is b plus d, so b plus d is equal to 0.5 plus 1.04 in meters. Okay, now the area will be square of this, the area of this critical section will be square of this, therefore 0.5 plus 1.04 square. Okay, if we consider upward direction as negative, or we are considering the shear force direction in upward direction negative, so negative, and now this load will be there 1600 into 1.5, therefore 1600 into 1.5. This is the value of shear force, this is the value of our shear force, shear force, sorry. If we move this particular portion on some left side, sorry, okay, this is for understanding purpose only. Okay, this is not required to be drawn in the problem. Okay, just keep it on left side. Okay, the system is bit slow. Okay, so this shear force value, we have got some value. Okay, so this shear force value comes out to be this, if we calculate this shear force value, that comes out to be 1768 kilonewton. If we want, this is our shear force, then shear stress tau v will be equal to Vu divided by B0 into D, or capital B0 or small b0, whatever you want to write, B0 into D. We have this Vu is equal to 1768, consider it in Newton, so into 10 raised to power 3. We have B0 is equal to 4 into 500 plus 40 multiply it with the D, that is 1040. This tau v value comes out to be, that is shear stress. This is the shear stress. This tau v comes out to be this tau v comes out to be 0.28 Newton per mm square, 0.28 Newton per mm square. Now as per IS 456 page number 5859, clause number 31.6.3.2, we'll go to 50, page number 58, we'll go to the page number 58, I think slightly below. If we go to page number 58, if we go to page number 58, okay, this is 58, okay, the permissible shear stress 31.6.3, 31.6.3, okay. Now in this it is given that the value of permissible shear stress should not exceed this value, that is Ks into Tc, tau c, Ks into tau c. Now the value of Ks, we consider the value of Ks, we will consider the value of this Ks, we will consider this constant Ks is equal to 1, Ks is equal to 1, and the value of tau c, the value of tau c is given by this equation, the value of tau c is given by this equation, tau c is equal to 0.25 under root FCK, 0.25 under root FCK as per limit state method. In this limit state method, this is given here only, this is given here only. Okay, at the same time we should also keep in mind that when the shear stress at the critical section exceed this value given in 31.6.3.1 but it is less than 1.5 tau c, then shear reinforcement shall be provided. If shear stress exceeds 1.5 tau c, then the footing shall be redesigned. Then the footing, okay, instead of this flat slab, consider here footing, consider this as a footing. So if it is more, if this value is more than if our shear stress is more than 1.5 tau c, then we have to redesign, that is we have to increase the depth, and if it is less than 1.5 tau c, then we have to provide the shear reinforcement. Okay, again we'll go here, sorry. Okay, so we have got this value tau v, sorry. So we have got the value of shear stress tau v is equal to 0.25 Newton per mm square. Now we have tau c as, as per we have as per clause 31.6.3.1, page number 5859 of IS 456 2000, we have this tau c formula is 0.25 under root FCK, 0.25 under root FCK. Therefore this tau c or this value tau c will comes out to be 0.25 under root FCK is, for this case is M25, for this particular case is M25. Okay, M25, for M25, for since we have M25, therefore this 25. Okay, so this value tau c, that is permissible shear stress, this comes out to be 1.25 Newton per mm square. This value is more than tau v, this value is more than tau v, that is 0.28 Newton per mm square. Hence okay. So I'll